In fact, I heard Martin Luther King say this one time. We were in Virginia and we were on the balcony of an old plantation. It was a conference center where we were having a conference, and they set us in these rocking chairs out on the porch, and we were looking out, and it just happened that there were students from University of Virginia who were doing the serving and who were cutting the grass, and it was a good summer job. And Dr. King and I and a few other preachers were laying up there drinking iced tea and rocking back and forth. Look, he said, you know, I can see that when you're sitting up here, slavery don't look so bad. There was what you always have in every movement and every organization. There was a clash of egos. Fred Shuttlesworth started this movement. He got it as far as he could get it. He came and asked us to come over and help him. We didn't want to go to Birmingham. Dr. King said, you know, we're not going to make it out of Birmingham alive. Some of us are going to have to, you can't go there playing in Birmingham. There'd been 60 unsolved bombings in Birmingham the year before, and nobody convicted. And I think the reason why nobody's made a speech like that is there's nobody that's been through what Martin Luther King went through between 1955 and 1963. His home was bombed. He was sued for not paying income taxes on the mass meeting collections and found innocent by an all-white jury. He was sued with the New York Times about an ad that, and they took all the property he had. He was stabbed in Harlem. He was arrested in Atlanta for picketing a department store, and instead of just releasing him as they did all the other students, they took him from Atlanta down to Reidsville State Penitentiary, which is 300 miles away. They put him in chains and put him in the back of a paddy wagon by himself with a police dog. And he had a 300-mile ride, which was, I think, designed to intimidate him and force him into a nervous breakdown. Fortunately, he had dogs and was not intimidated by the dog, and probably used the presence of the dog to help deal with the question of, you know, the fact that he thought he was going for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. He thought he was going down to a river in South Georgia where he'd be thrown into it. Well, when he came out of that, he was spiritually tougher than anybody we have seen in this country since Abraham Lincoln, and maybe tougher than Abraham Lincoln. But he was spiritually and emotionally toughened to the point where his dream was a result of his suffering. And he knew death was inevitable. And he said, you know, you don't have any choice about dying. You're going to die. The only choice you have is, what do you die for? And do you get hit by a truck, or, you know, shot by a jealous lover? Or do you find a purpose that is worth giving your life to, and give your life to it knowing that it might require ending your life? I was taught always, don't get mad, get smart. Think your way in and out of a problem. I much prefer the Nigerian way of getting rid of a dictator. You know, they knew he was a dog. They knew he had a bad heart, so they told him he needed a rest, and they sent him up in the mountains with 3 hookers and a big bottle of Viagra. And when they went back up there to see what happened, the hookers were gone and he was dead. You know, and I'm sure it would have been a lot easier to do something like that to Saddam Hussein than to have all of this bombing and killing and stuff. And so I just think you don't get mad, you get smart.